And very nice people in Walnut Creek.
A few.
Oh, yes.
Awesome. Cool. All right, let's see. All right, well, I'll leave my phone here in case Christina shows up, our mysterious new guest. But we will get to it. The topic for this discussion is robots and automation, what happens next. The intent is just to provide context for discussion on job automation. And these are just a few quotes from notable people around various industries that just kind of give context on what people are thinking with job automation. You've got Elon Musk, who's basically committed his life to ensuring our existence because we're going to become obsolete, and as he frequently mentions, at best, pet dogs. Stephen Hawking has also been pretty pessimistic. Yuval Noah Harari, I believe is how you pronounce his name, has also been pretty pessimistic. A lot of people have been pessimistic. That's why I threw these quotes in here. Now I wanted to just start with like a little bit of context on why people freak out so much about artificial intelligence, what it actually is, what's the hoopla all about, So we see what is artificial intelligence. It's the science and engineering of making intelligent machines, especially intelligent computer programs. And that was a quote pulled from Stanford's computer science website. And then I have down below that just a kind of a definition that I put together, which is I think captures the fear of people, which is just that it's an algorithm that creates super levels of recursive learning to become pretty much infinitely skilled at discovering trends and opportunities that we can't even really fathom. So we're unsure how it will develop because it's going to reach an intelligence that we can't conceive. And so why is this so scary? Almost everything in life can be simplified to trends. Robots learn faster than us as humans, a lot faster. Robots don't need to sleep or take time off to play in the park, get work-life balance, and generally over time we've seen that knowledge is power, information, and a lot of people fear that these robots would learn a lot, and we don't know what that outcome would be. When they learn things that we can't conceive, what would they do? And so this is challenging to see. It's not really meant to be read, but it's a Wikipedia page of all the different people over time who have made predictions that the end of the world was near. And I mean, these are literally just the subtitles. I mean, under each century and under each one of these, there's probably hundreds of predictions of people who've been, these asteroids, these things, the sun's gonna blow up, whatever. So why do people think this is so different? That's not supposed to be displaying yet, but so I just pulled a few things over time that help us understand when certain entities have power, they have been shown to abuse it. So we see here, this is just citing in China, there's a lot of slave work used to build the Great Wall of China. This was the Egyptians. I really don't have numbers on either of these two, but I know the Egyptians certainly used slavery and their power to create great things. You could debate the positive sense of that, but it's generally assumed to have happened. And then this is an image of the Aztecs. I think the most interesting part about the Spanish and the Aztecs is that the Spanish conquistadors truly were trying to save the savages. They viewed the Aztecs as kind of savage, almost animals, and so they truly believed they were going to help them live a better life. And I think that's the important point of this slide, is that we saw this same thing happen in India, where the British moved in and they said, we're going to make your life so much better, and killed potentially 100 million people. And then you see the same thing. This is a photo of Saint Bartholomew's or the massacre of Saint Bartholomew, or I always mispronounce that, but this was during the Christian Crusades, or Catholic Crusades rather, and this is notably one of the most significant massacres during that time, where the numbers range, but it can go between 10,000 to 30,000 within 24 hours to a week, and all of this was based on improving the world and helping people live a better life, which is an interesting way to do that. And then of course the Nazis also believed in a similar principle, which was evolutionary humanism, which is based on kind of like kill the weak people and ensure humanity is its best version of itself. I guess that's one way to maximize human potential. So the point that I'm trying to make there is not to twist this into a whole AI and whatever. This isn't a history lesson, but there's just a few citations, and obviously there's countering citations, but the point is that history has shown that even when entities are trying to do good, they end up killing lots of people in their effort to do so. So we don't know if that's a human behavior to kill itself in the name of improving itself, or if that's just all things with knowledge and intelligence. But before any of that happens, it will take our jobs. And that's why we're here. This is a phrase my mom always used to say is, how so brown cow? How is this going to happen? How is it going to take our jobs? The basics of this is just based on what we were talking about earlier, which is if the job is based on responding to incoming information with set criteria, it can probably be automated, because that's just going to be based on trends. So the large infinite scale is you can see almost everything in the workforce being automated. Any analyst job, marketing job, accounting, clerical work, health diagnosis, customer service, especially transportation. It's just anything where you can find some sort of this happens, you should probably do this. Any sort of like trend-based, responsive industry, it could likely be automated, and that's a long-term prediction. And these are just examples of how these can happen. You look at customer service based on set problems and outcomes. It's currently people, and people get tired and cranky, and AI is learning conversation. So one of the points I wanted to make is that a lot of people say they like people, but will they like it enough to wait longer and pay more? It seems unlikely, especially once artificial intelligence really becomes conversational, as we've seen with just Google Home. How that that's assuming you all have used Google Home, but one of its the greatest things it markets is just that it can hold a conversation. You can bring up something about Barack Obama and then reference it 3 questions later, and it will remember what you asked it, and it understands context, which is just the infancy of the technology. It's the same thing with marketing. It's able to AI will be able to find trends in text, audio, images, and video, sensing and processing personality, tone, and information. So it will not only be able to do things, it will be able to draw insights that humans cannot. So it just stands, and then this is the last example I will use, is just content creation. These are things that are already being implemented. Obviously, it's not widespread, but reporting on sports and news. If this happens, if this team wins, plug into this formula. And I do content, but I hate to see this happen, but it's likely. So, like I said, you kind of get the point. It can't be that bad, right? So these are some numbers. And so the Obama administration put out some numbers right before they left. And so they had said that they made predictions that within 10 years alone, 2.2 to 3.1 million bus and trucking jobs will be lost. And this is the graph citing it, and that big arrow to show how important it is. But if you look at the graph, I mean, all of these jobs are, this is strictly transportation, and this is the White House making these predictions of 2 to 3 million jobs lost, or the word they use is threatened. But I guess that's a significant, shift in language. However, 2 to 3 million jobs are significantly threatened, in the upcoming decade alone in transportation. And just to emphasize, just in the next decade. Moving on from that, the Bureau of Labor Statistics said these are the most popular job categories in the U.S. Office and administrative jobs, sales, food preparation, transportation, production occupations, and that is 68 million out of 140 million, which is 48% of the workforce. And in this famous 2013 Oxford study, they found that 40% of the jobs to be automated in the soon coming future, or 47% of jobs are to be automated in the soon coming future. And so there is not a, this is not a coincidence that these two numbers are so similar. This is basically the prediction of what jobs, what industries, and what's going to be automated. And some arrows to emphasize that point. And then this was just something that I wanted to pull up that I thought was an interesting piece of data. That McKinsey estimates that the proportion of food, prep, and service activities that are automatable are at 73%. So I think that's significant because and what most sets the context for this next coming wave is just that is 73% of just that industry, but these are just when we look at these slight predictions from the White House, from McKinsey and Oxford, they are only referencing what is going to be directly lost. This is where things get interesting. Is if we cite back to the transportation industry, we see that of those 3 million truck drivers, their average age is 47. They average 1 year of college, so not even an associate's degree. They pay monthly payments on their trucks. They have early onset health conditions, and when surveyed, 87% of them see no threat to their job in the future. So that's not a good recipe here for the next decade. You have a huge portion of the economy which is, to be just candid with these numbers, they're not quite employable, and it's going to be challenging to teach those individuals how to pick up new skills if it's necessary. So you essentially see a large amount of this population likely to not rejoin the workforce. And this is only within this direct, industry within, truck drivers and transportation. This was a photo that I wanted to emphasize with the last point, that 87% of them were certain their job was safe, and this already happened. This was a Uber truck making its first self-driven delivery.